A message was sent out today. An explosive message that went out with a resounding blast. A message that was watched and heard by thousands across India at 2:30 in the afternoon on Sunday, the 28th of August. In Noida, where we are, hundreds gathered on their rooftops and on their terraces in apartments like this, and thousands gathered across their screens to watch in amazement, holding their breath as two skyscrapers, multi-storied buildings, almost 40 stories, were razed to the ground. It was an unusual sight for India. It is an unusual story for India. Two multi-storied buildings, skyscrapers, built illegally, brought down, demolished using 3,500 kilograms of explosives. A multi-storied building completely built, completely finished, brought down on the orders of the Supreme Court because it was built without following any rules or regulations, complete violation of all the rules and regulations. The blast in the end took only about 9 seconds, but it brought to an end a long saga. It caps a 9-year-long legal battle between the residents of the Emerald complex here behind me and the realtors of these two twin tower buildings. And we're asking tonight on We the People, have any lessons been learned? Well, joining us now, Utkarsh Mehta, partner at Edifice Engineering, and Mayur Mehta, project manager behind the demolition of the Supertech twin towers. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a hectic, I'm sure, very emotional, busy day for you. But in a sense, really, this has been a breathtaking spectacle. It's been an, engineering marvel where everybody, millions across the country, sat across their screens to watch this. Let me just ask, in the end, has everything gone according to plan? Have you done your, post-demolition checkups, and are you satisfied?
Yes, what we had envisaged at the beginning, on the day one, when we start for design, and today when we are done with the blast, we are absolutely satisfied with the way the fall has come, with the way the debris have been generated. As of now, if you see, Emerald is completely safe. There is nothing which has come out of the compound wall of the twin towers, which is in the roadside. There is no debris, it's not hit the compound wall as well. The only portion which was hit is a part of ATS boundary wall. So it's an immaculate piece of work with the limitation of space what we had. Then the Gale pipeline on this side, the Aster 2 on the other side. We had a very limited space. With this stronger building, it was difficult. With a lot of shear walls, it was difficult. But then the way Joe has designed it, the way Joe envisaged it after the test blast, he changed a couple of things, which again helped us. It was never planned. The test blast was never planned. When we started preparing the structure, it was almost after a couple of months when we thought we should go for this test blast. And then we went to authorities and teams, and then we got that permission to do it, and we did it. So that was really important because that gave us a lot of understanding of the structure more. There was physical look, then we started working on it, so we found things are getting heavier than what we had envisaged during our first round. So said and done, today if you ask me, we are really happy with the way it has come down. There is no second thoughts that there is anything more. Probably, I mean, if you ask me to do the same building tomorrow, we will have couple of changes, yes. I would not say no. Like maybe we would have added more wraps. Like if you see the video, this is the first impression what we've done. We've actually not sat together and analyzed it, but if you see the video, the Sian has come down completely, and then the top 3 floors, which we did not blast, toppled.
Okay.
It never fall like this. It came like this straight, and then it has toppled. If you see the video again and again, you will be able to see that, and that's what has hit the ATS compound wall.
Got it.
So, but then it was a
That
toppling
was
action.
estimated.
Yeah,
we had
anticipated. Yeah, we had informed that there is a probability, and we are there to, in case there is a, we'll
is responsible for that.
So can the residents live in their homes in these neighboring areas? Can they live in their homes tonight? Would you put your own family if you had a...
I would say yes. I am 100%.
I'm staying in Emerald. I'm staying in Emerald since last 6-7 months. I've rented one house. As
You
my-
will be staying there tonight and sleeping
Definitely,
soundly.
ma'am. With my family. With my wife and my son, both are here. They came here to see the blast. So definitely I'm going to stay there in the same flat on which I'm staying right now.
There can be no greater confidence builder than that.
Yeah.
But can I just ask you, could you explain to our viewers what this waterfall implosion is? We know it's an implosion because it has to fall inwards. This was an extremely challenging demolition. You've done many in the past, but unlike Kerala, there were no buildings in the near vicinity so close by. So could you just explain to us what the waterfall concept is?
Yeah. Basically the waterfall concept that say approximately there are 2,700 odd columns in the building. So that never each column there will be a time delay difference. So from 0.1 milliseconds if the single column blasts, the second column another will blast after maybe another milliseconds delay. So it starts from the basement B1 and ends at the apex of 30th floor on the last time near the Ester 2. So that ignition time, it took 7 seconds to ignite all.
Why is it required that you have a...
Yeah, I'll explain you, ma'am, that. It is just for the, if you blast the 2-3 columns at a time, then the fall automatically will diversify, it will go in some other direction.
Got it.
So that is the reason it is a waterfall effect, and from Kian, which the basement from where we have started, it has ignited and the top one ignited after the 7 seconds.
So the impact also on the
Definitely,
ground.
ma'am. Now, yeah, now you got my point.
Less and
The
weaker
small and
because you're
small,
dividing and
exactly,
bringing it
ma'am.
down.
Exactly,
Fragmented,
ma'am.
fragmented mass is coming down on the ground rather than impacting it at one go. We are fragmenting it into portions, and so it is impacting the ground in a period of 7 seconds. In our dictionary, 7 seconds is too long a period.
Yeah.
So the vibrations are caused in milliseconds. Here we're taking 7 odd seconds for the structure from the first point to the last point, grounding it.
And also, was this a challenge in the sense that you were working on bringing down a building that had been superimposed because it was built in a seismic zone?
Yes, it was that was the biggest challenge. I mean, that's how we went for more number of floors, more number of explosives in the basements. So that's where we analyzed that the building is strong enough, rightly said, seismic zone 5, and then 40 story.
Yeah.
So two things to look at. So though it was still at 32, but then the foundations were built to go up to 40 stories. So
Yeah.
the basements, the ground levels were strong enough so that it can go as high as 40 stories.
Okay.
So looking at both the perspectives, yes, it was strong
Now
enough.
that the demolition is out of the way, what do we need to look at in terms of, environmental fallouts of this, the terms of the dust, in terms of the pollution, in terms of the debris, in terms of how it affects the water table, in terms of how it affects the air, how it affects the plants around us?
For the pollutions and all, I mean, to be very frank, I need to get data from Noida authority tomorrow because we've done a lot of monitoring. Even we've done our own monitoring, but the authentic data we would get it from Noida authority because they have stationed lots of equipments around, and there are already fixed equipments by them. But then on the face, what we understood is the quality of air did not deteriorate to the extent it was envisaged. And the dust cloud also, which everyone felt that it would be humongous and it would take days to clear off. We were asked how many days it will take to clear it off. We used to tell it 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes max to max, and then if the wind is good enough it can go still beyond 10 minutes, and that's what we saw. Yeah, it has to settle. It has
But the dust, hasn't settled on the whole controversy about this building, right? And there are arguments made about people you do hear people saying that, look, now that it's come up, which is what I think the builders were betting on, now that it's come up, why bring it down? There's going to be an environmental cost, there's going to be a wastage, etc., etc. But I want to ask you, now that we have done this building successfully, do you think it sets a precedent going forward and a message is sent out to, the real estate developers that it has been done in the past and it can be done safely again?
It's true.
Yeah, it is a precedence in terms of it can be done, yes, and it can be done safely. That's where we will say regarding why this precedence is set. We would rather not be able to comment why. Because as I told you, I mean, we are contractors, and I would never go and ask someone, a client of mine, why are you getting this down? It's my business to get it down, whether it
But
is...
it can be demolished in a safe manner. Debris can be, disposed of in an environmentally friendly manner. We can bring down costs both in terms of money, etc.
Yeah, that's true.
This
Even
will-
though this is the one example also, see, there are lots of things. India got independence in 1947 and we have started, established our infrastructure. There are lots of things which is now 75 years old. And this is the best technology and the economical technology to bring down everything in fast, speedy as well as economical manner. So that is also one point of scenario, that if 100-meter tall any government things are there. With this means you can do it fast, safe and 100% sure.
This is the textbook case. Thank you so much. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
So, apart from it, the demolition being a breathtaking spectacle, a technological marvel, a feat of modern day engineering precision, this is a David versus Goliath story, where you have the middle class homeowners taking on this monolith of an enterprise, taking them to court for the violation of norms. And so joining us are some of those who've been behind the fight. We'll have Uday Bhan Singh Theotia. He's the president of the RWA, the Resident Welfare Association of Emerald Court. Aarti Coppola is a resident of Emerald Court, and we have two other guests who are also residents living in Nivedita Saxena and Ranjana Bhardwaj, both of them also joining us now. We have Ranjana Bhardwaj is the vice president of the NEFOWA, and Nivedita lives at the Supertech Eco Village 2. So first and foremost, Aarti, to you, it's been a 9-year-long protracted battle, and I'm sure it was probably not easy. Were there points at which you thought that, maybe you guys should just give up? Because it really is a case of David against Goliath.
Well, after the High Court came up with the verdict, and the confidence obviously goes up. But when you go to Supreme Court, you still wonder whether they will, because it's a powerful lobby, the doubt keeps coming in the mind. Of course, the people who are fighting this for Mr. Tebatia ji, Bajaj sir, and our other member Sharma ji and other people, they were pretty confident. They kept on writing letters. I have seen them sitting in hours in the RWA office, writing letters, each letter thought of, and discussing with lawyers, because it's not easy to find the legal languages and talk to them, because there's always a pressure, and initial people in fact had pressure from builder, like they were threatened also with their families, consequences, and so with all that going on in the society, and the residents were there, they all chipped in to give the money for the case. But the people who fight in the forefront need to be there all the time fighting for it. With conviction, we can win it. And of course, as the Supreme Court, when they finally gave us that, Honorable Supreme Court gave us the final verdict, it was the joy in our society on that day, and sweets were distributed. We were very happy. We couldn't believe that we could fight the system and the court came in our favor. Because there's always a doubt in Indian system that probably builder at some last moment can pull it off.
Absolutely. Well, today everybody is applauding you in your collective action. The way this entire RWA has worked together has really been commendable. Nivedita Saxena, you live in the Supertech Eco Village too. All of you live around this area. Were there not worries at some point that when this demolition comes down, things could go horribly wrong, and the house that you have could be affected or impacted? Have you been home yet? Have you seen the condition of your home right now? Ma'am, you have to unmute. Nivedita?
Well, I have not gone back to my home yet. I'll be going home, and yes, when I was looking at it from the TV, it was like then everything was engulfed in the cloud of dust. Like it was a shock to our eyes also. But the joy is definitely there. But let me see when we go back home, and it has been told to us that the damage is not as it was investigated or it was
But did you
foreseen.
ever doubt yourself that whether we should push for this? Because you have this huge monstrous building. It's twice the size of the building you're living in. Were you not worried? What if they demolish it and it tilts over? Did any of these concerns go through your head?
Yes, sir. Certainly. In the beginning, yes, the concern were there, but we were told that, see, the edifice company, they all came and they actually guided us. They told us that what could be done and how it will be done. And the technology is so good right now, means we have to believe in them. And there is no other way. Had we said no, let us not do it, then it would be a win-win situation for the builder.
Yeah.
This is what they actually wanted us to do, to just put us, just go back and just
To make you doubt
throw our
yourself.
weapons. Yes. But we were all together and we just wanted this to happen at any cost.
All
So
right.
the
I have Uday Ban Singh Theotia joining us, the president of the RWA of the Emerald Court. I'm sure, sir, thank you for your time. Everybody has been felicitating you tonight. You know, this area where you all are, jahan pe aap rehte ho, or ye NCR area, it's been a booming real estate sector. It is notorious for builders who flout construction regulations, and they're often in collision with officials. So, how did you manage this, sir?
You are absolutely right. From 2005 onwards, there has been a boom in the capitals of the builders and the authorities also, for that matter, I can say so. But having said so, we have a very, very painful experience of the builders and the society and the authorities. Since 2010, we have been running from pillars to post to get the justice, but none of them had it, because they were in such a hand and gloves. Not only with the authority and the builder, even the government was in the hand of the gloves. And as such, though we have not one letters, but hundreds of letters favoring us, but none of them was implemented by the Noida authority. We have been going to even the courts to issue the orders to the authorities to get the orders implemented, but nothing was done. However, the Honorable Court as well as the Supreme Court, I think they have given the judgment that you cannot avoid to get their own orders implemented and float the bylaws which have been framed by the government, whether it is UP government or whether it is central government, that is through NBCC. And the result is today, I mean, we are very happy to get these things demolished, though it is a national loss. But at the same time, the message should have gone and should go to the whole nation that any violation, any illegal things cannot remain otherwise, which has to be implemented. And there will be a message. There will be a message to the authorities as well as the builders to see that they do not do anything.
Mr. Theota, all the residents of your association, and I'm sure RWAs across the country, are doffing their hat to you for your, doggedness and your relentlessness to pursue this case all the way to the end. But talking about what the lessons are that we've learned from this, Ranjana Bhardwaj, Vice President of the NEFOWA, it's a registered association of Noida Extension buyers. What are the other lessons learned from this episode? I mean, talking about, I'm wondering whether it talks about citizen action, how important that is. Consumers have rights too, and how united, if you are united, perhaps the small can take on the mighty. Do you think this could set a precedent?
First of all, I would like to congratulate the contractor team who had demolished this tower in the same way how they said, because when I was watching in all the channels, my emotions were totally mixed. I was happy because it was a great lesson to the builders, to the corrupted people in the authority, to everyone. and simultaneously I was worried that maybe this will fall in the same way as they were saying it will fall like the waterfall and all. So my congratulations to first of all to the contractor team, and congratulate to the RWA of Emerald Court who fighted it, and they stood for the 10 years. They kept the patience for that. And this is a lesson, this is the, everyone will learn from them that if united we stand, no one can do anything, whether there's a corrupted people and so on. So it's a mixed emotions word today. But I'm a little bit very much worried about the Emerald Court society, because as we know, the quality of the Supertech is not good. So I do hope that proper audit should be done there, about the structure audit should be done before they move on to their flats, because life is very important. And I'm very worried about the debris, with the tons of debris.
Yeah, of course. So many questions.
It will take about the 3 months to move that. I request the team, the authority team, they should work 24 hours to remove this debris as soon as possible, because it will create the health problems to the people living nearby.
Very good point about the debris, about the pollution, the environmental pollution, whether it affects the water table, whether the what happens to the dust. But Mr. Teotia, to you, I want to ask you: the Supreme Court had also ordered that the RWA be paid 2 crores for the harassment caused due to the construction of these twin buildings. You had talked a little bit about that harassment. What happened about that compensation, that money?
We have received the money.
Okay.
Well in time. The builder had given it because he thought he will please us by giving this money, and then he filed another case to modify the judgment, which was not accepted by the Supreme Court, because they knew it, that he is trying to play again with us.
Okay.
Therefore, this demolition had to be done in the interest of the whole country.
Yeah.
The nexus between the authorities and the builder has to finish one day or the other.
The nexus has to end one way or the other, and perhaps this is the first nail in the coffin here, or at least a huge message going out. Aarti Koppula, 1 hour before the blast day, the realtor Supertech said we had not been able to get them, and they're not speaking, but they put out a statement that said that the structures that were constructed according to the building plan approved by the Noida Development Authorities. They said no deviations were made. What did you make of this statement coming in at this nth hour? Was it disingenuous? What was the response of the RWA?
I don't think that was true at all. It was an absolute lie. Actually, they have been saying constant lie right from the beginning for everything that they have been talking about. In fact, the structural audit was done. They were shown that there were problems. They were supposed to repair it well in time. They just keep dilly-dallying everything. Whenever, and they think, somehow they can just get away. Even I think they probably thought that this judgment probably will not be implemented, and they thought that they tried to even corner us with that, if we just take over those towers and not I will leave them just like that, and they will leave it if we just back off, something like that. I mean,
okay.
He just, I think he's a powerful kind of a lobby that is, should get a very strong message this time. At least in India, it was very much required, and I am very happy with Edifice for bringing it to such precision that it was unimaginable, because in a country like ours, where the chances of faults are very, very high, I thought they did a fantastic job. We were really worried. All residents were scared, and I think now the result is visible, and it can bring a huge lesson to the entire country that they just, powerful lobbies just can't get away with whatever they want against the residents who feel totally left out because of various in real estate we are stuck with some kind of systems where we just can't come out of it. Like Eco Village again in Supertech, Greater Noida, they have some beam crashed, and the Supertech construction is really pathetic. What they showed us in sample flats, when finally we reached our houses, they demolished the sample flat and we got something entirely different. The quality wasn't even there. What the fittings, the things that they showed in the sample flat then they just demolish it and we are left with, at the mercy of builder and the authorities.
But maybe that script will change a little bit tonight with these visuals that are flashing across everyone's screens. Everyone is watching this story. Mr. Tewatia, to you next then. What happens now? When do residents plan to go back to their homes? How do you plan to do that? Are you worried about, environmental pollution around you, the long-term fallout of this? Will you be returning tomorrow? Do you have a plan for all the residents to return home safely?
No, about 100 families have already returned in the evening. And from tomorrow onwards, perhaps 60% or 70% of the families will start joining tomorrow. And thereafter, any person who has gone a little away and gone on a picnic or gone out into the races and all, they might join any time. We have already opened our complete society for anybody to come and stay in their houses. So there is no problem. The only thing, there is a problem in the basement. There is a bad smell which perhaps will go away in a day or two. Otherwise, by evening we have ensured that our society has already been cleaned to a great extent, and there is no damage to our properties. Yes, I have been told that there has been some damage in the ATS, which the president of the ATS spoke to me, and he is in touch with the Noida authority and the ADFS. So otherwise, it has gone in a very planned manner. The technology, this shows that technology has gone really so good.
Absolutely.
It can do wonders.
Well, in the end, 9 years, a 9-year fight ending in 9 seconds. 30 seconds to you, Mr. Tewatia. I know your phone has been ringing through this interview also. Are you getting lots of calls from other RWA presidents across the country asking for advice on how you did this?
Yes, certainly. Actually, I would only say that one should not accept injustice. If somebody is wrong, he should be taken head on. Have a committed people to fight against the corruption or injustice.
Stand up to injustice, fight against corruption. Thank you, sir. I'm going to let you go and take all those calls. They keep ringing. Thank you all for joining us on We the People tonight. This is your night. This is your day. Thank you for joining us on a show where we believe it's important to speak up, but also important to listen. Good night.